Hi, this is Sher Veronica. I was sitting here feeling quite sad because of the girls in Barbados. They have been found, but they don't want to go home. And I've been hearing a little background about them and how they have been abused. And then Victor called and he wanted to talk about a similar situation, not situation, but a similar subject, yeah, the objectification of young Barbadian women. Victor, say hi to everyone.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm in the afternoon mode here on the West Coast of the USA. Hope everybody is good in Barbados. God's blessings to you and your families. And I beg that you just put up with my simplistic ideas for a brief few moments.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about? Because, like I said, I'm kind of bummed out over the fact that young girls are still being abused. You know, the moms knew they were taking money from the girls. They had to have known that a 13-year-old girl is only making money from one particular thing, you know. And I even heard Natalie on a video saying that she advised them not to be on the street. So if Natalie's advising someone not to be on the streets, it's obvious that the subject came up. But I want you to go ahead. I just wanted to get that out because I may not be talking too much because I don't know why it sat on me that way. I don't know why it has hit me the way it has. But I'm going to let you take the floor and we have like 20 minutes. Okay, Victor. Victor, 20
Yeah,
minutes? Okay.
listen, I want to talk about the objectification and the misogynistic tendencies of us men in Barbados towards Barbadian women. Um, have I been guilty of that in the past? I'm sure that I have. But I'm here to appeal to all of us. This is a collective effort. When we objectify a woman, any woman, when we denigrate them to second-class citizenship, is it possible then for us to say that because of slavery and because of our past, colonial past, and the ravages of colonization, that somehow has left an imprint on our society when we are living in the 21st century in a level of modernity that would permit for us to differentiate between what we are now facilitating as far as the denigration of women and the way we speak to them, the way we objectify them. We have in our possession the ability to affect change as a people. But I'm especially speaking to men who permit women to be objectified and treat them in a misogynistic way that would facilitate for these young girls naked, fighting, exposed the lascivious and salacious tendencies that are being exhibited all over Barbados. I saw a disgusting video of a young woman with her private self exposed, with another woman performing a sex act. And then, subsequent to that, young girls fighting, their clothes ripped from their bodies. Is that the greatness that Barbadians can come to understand? Why aren't we speaking as grown people, intelligent people, to this level of objectification of young girls and young boys? Why are we allowing the degradation of standards in our country? Are we going to now turn around and blame the government of Barbados, the Attorney General of Barbados, the Prime Minister of Barbados, and the Cabinet of Barbados for our lack of responsible behavior towards raising ourselves up in our communities? People, what's going on? Why are we mad with this level of salacious behavior? Why are we doing these things? If you raise up a woman, one woman, do you know that you raise a whole nation? And if you denigrate one woman, you denigrate an entire nation. And why is that, Victor? Because women are our first teachers. Our mothers are our first teachers. That is part of the African construct, part of our own heritage. And we have fallen short of understanding that it takes a village to raise a child. And we allow ourselves to degrade femininity. And women, you're doing a pretty good job of it yourselves by degrading yourselves, by prostituting yourselves before entire world. Social media lands all of us in posterity, lands all of us futuristically into some database for which we have no control. And our history will be remembered by our nakedness, by our inability to act decent. That is the legacy that we are leaving. I am asking these questions of you because I have these same questions to be asked of myself. Have I not been a good citizen, a good human being, a decent person? Who will we blame for our indecence or indecency? Will we blame that on the government, on the church? Or shall we start at the lowest common denominator and look inwardly to ourselves and look at our very existence and try to correct that? I mean, I grew up in a Barbados where materially I may have lacked some things. I may have been poor in some aspect materially, but to be poor in values, to devalue ourselves to the lowest common value, lacks spirituality, lacks psychology, and permit me to say, devalues us sociologically. I believe that Barbados and even the United States where I live is greater than that. It's better than that, that we are better human beings when we serve each other, when we look at the value of each other and embrace it. Barbados, I am not within your embraces, my countrymen, to be able to hug you, to be able to tell each of you that I love you, but I do love you. Regardless of my criticism sometimes of you, I love you. You are in possession of the embraces of your own children. You can hug them, you can kiss them, and you can do it to other people's children too, because it takes a village. Then I beg of you to do that. I beg of you, brothers and sisters, to look at each other, not as objects of desire, but as people worth something with some value. Please, it's not too late to turn this around. We own this. We own our humanity, and likewise our inhumanity. We own this. Let no invidious distinction exist among us. The travesty of justice is that we do not have our hands on the pulses of each other, that we do not feel the sensitivity and the compassion to each other that we should. But we can change that. It starts every single day with a commitment to saying, no longer will I permit school children to be fighting and misbehaving on the streets of Barbados. No longer will I allow other people to be disrespected. In my presence, I have a voice, and I will echo that voice. to bring decency and solemnity to our island nation. We can't leave it to the government of Barbados. The Prime Minister has said all that she can. The Attorney General is embattled with solving crime that's ravaging Barbados. It is up to us to get back on a moral pathway that affords for us to lift ourselves up and for the ancestors who hoped for and left a legacy that one day we would be better than they were in their time. It's up to us.
Thank you, Victor.
Whether my child, whether my family member, or yours. Last time I checked, we are all in this together. We all own this. And some of you may say, away with this guy in Washington. He's just a simpleton, a voice crying out in the wilderness. Well, this is all our Damascus journey, Barbadians, friends, family, loved ones. This is all our Damascus journey. Let's unite. Let's bond together. Today is someone's child. Tomorrow it may be ours. Let's end this waywardness. Let's commit as a people to speak truth to power. The truth that needs to be spoken is to each other. I would call on the Prime Minister, if anything, and I don't know that she's listening to me because she's so filled with other more important things, to have a day of atonement. That word syllabalized simply means at one-ment. It's time for us to have a day or days of atonement, cleansing of each other. Because right now, I think that we're pretty unclean, spiritually and emotionally, and perhaps even psychologically. And that's all I have to say, Sherry.
All right. Thank you so very much. I'm sorry that I was no help to you today. I'm so sorry but maybe next time I'll be able to really have a conversation on the subject. But it's just like it depresses me, and I have to go and run and just perspire and sweat and get it out of me and get back to myself, because I don't like. Very very seldom do I feel this way. So I have to get it off my shoulder. But yeah, I do not like the fact that young girls are predated upon, and they do things with their bodies that they should not. They should not. It's something that is very, very sad. But anyhow, yeah. So we'll talk again.
Good. Blessings. Blessings to everyone.
Likewise, likewise.